Been listening into the U.S. President and the U.K. Prime Minister Keir Starmer, along with other officials, speaking about a U.S.-UK trade deal and announcing really that trade deal has been nearly finalized between the two countries. Trump called the deal good for both countries, mentioning access to industrial products and stating security alignment. UK's Prime Minister Keir Starmer also spoke, as you heard, via phone, saying the deal emphasizes economic closeness between both countries. Now, the U.S. was Britain's biggest trading partner last year, according to government statistics. And we heard there from the Commerce Secretary, Howard Lutnick, who spoke, and he called the UK the fourth largest country that the United States export to. When we talk about specifics in this trade deal, we know that the U.S. and UK trade deal will include or lead to the creation of an aluminum and steel trading zone and a secure pharmaceutical supply chain. Both would be of interest to Canada. I'm sure Canadian officials are listening into the details of this deal. Lutnick also mentioned that the UK will be buying $10 billion worth of Boeing planes, and the U.S. is receiving new market access for U.S. Chemicals, machinery. There's much more to it. I want to bring in Nick Harper in Washington, who was listening into that. There was a lot of detail there, but we know still there are some aspects that need to be finalized. What really struck you in terms of perhaps a goal of the United States and the UK that was reached here?
Well, Artie, I think much of this was really to try and create a photo opportunity for the Trump administration, who for the past month have been trying to get essentially a win. And this, as the first trade deal negotiated with another country, provides them with that win. We have seen market turmoil, not just here in the United States, but really right around the world as a result of that tariff announcement about a month ago. Donald Trump said during that 90-day pause he was hoping to do 90 trade deals. And yet a month beyond that 90-day pause deadline, we haven't seen any trade deals done within that time period. Now, this is the first one. We have some details, as you mentioned there, but they do seem to be, I guess, headline details. Donald Trump did say really quite early on in the press conference that the final details are being written up, and those will come in the coming weeks. He did call it a very conclusive deal. Good for both countries, he noted as well. But I think in many respects, at this point, it is much better for the United States, providing it with that much needed win. As you mentioned, there are some specifics we know about the creation of the aluminum and steel trading zone, also a secure pharmaceutical supply chain. As you mentioned, that could apply to multiple countries, including Canada, right around the world. The US also saying that with this deal, they'll be able to raise $6 billion in external revenue from a 10% tariff that'll be in place against the UK and $5 billion in new export opportunities. So I think it is a marker. It is a placeholder, as you will, that this deal has been agreed, and yet there are many details, many specifics that still need to be sorted out in the coming days and weeks. But today, as Donald Trump mentioned, it is a special day, an important day, and certainly one that he is very keen to celebrate as the first trade deal being done with another country.
And Nick, if I may also just ask you a little bit about the Canadian context of this all, and that is because we know that Canada's Prime Minister was just there this week discussing trade, trying to negotiate or begin the discussions of negotiating a trade deal with the United States. We know that Canada and the U.S. were each other's largest trade partners, and we heard the words from Donald Trump there that the U.K. is truly one of our greatest allies, almost as if it was something that Canadians were meant to hear. How might the Canadians be watching how this is unfolding?
Yeah, very interesting. Those words from Donald Trump describing the UK as the United States' closest and most cherished ally. Yes, I think that seemed to be something of a dig to its northerly neighbour following that visit by the Prime Minister earlier this week. That visit was an opportunity for their first meeting, their first face-to-face encounter, an opportunity to get to know each other rather than work out an actual trade deal. But of course, we saw during that meeting Mark Carney pushing back very forcefully against that continued idea that Donald Trump has repeated time and time again that Canada should become the United States' 51st state. Interesting to note as well that Donald Trump is on the eve of heading off on his first major foreign overseas trip of his second term. Obviously, he went to the Pope's funeral, but his trip to the Middle East, to Saudi Arabia, the UAE and Qatar next week shows that in his mind, his priority really at this stage is about doing deals with different countries. In the past, we have seen US presidents as their first foreign trip choosing their neighbours, perhaps Canada, perhaps Mexico. Instead, Donald Trump is choosing a part of the world not often favoured by US presidents, making it clear that he wants to do deals there in the same way that he's been able to do this deal with the the United Kingdom. A deal that he did say the past US administrations had been trying to do for some time. Even himself, during his first term, was trying to get a bilateral arrangement worked out with the UK. It didn't happen. It didn't happen for President Biden. President Trump has made it happen, and he's using it as an opportunity to celebrate a trade win. Potentially more to come, but will there be one with Canada anytime soon? Canadians obviously wanting to get a reduction in that 25% tariff on cars and on steel. Donald Trump working through those deals. It's unclear, though, exactly where Canada lands on his priority list.
Nick, thank you for this. That is reporter Nick Harper in Washington.